The VRUN macro allows you to submit your SAS programs in a validated environment. It's used in conjunction with other macros such as the vStatus, the VTOC for table generation, exporting to Excel, and the vCheck, which checks your analysis. But normally the first one that you would run is the VRUN, which allows you to specify what path your SAS programs reside, the names of your specific SAS programs, and these two parameters are optional. The output report means that if your SAS program produces like a PDF report or something like that, you can specify where it's going to be generated in this parameter. And what that does is the VRUN will verify after it submits your program if that report gets generated. If it does not, then it doesn't set the status being that is successfully generated. Whereas if your program does generate the specified report, the status in your validation will be set accordingly. The VRAP is a validation report that details more what the resulting of the VRUN process. But let me show you these parameters in a real example. So let's say, for example, in your directory where you have all your programs, you may have actual programs such as T programs for summary tables, or F programs for figures, and L programs for listings, for example. So you would create a single script for each type of report. For example, I'm creating one here that one of the users, Lisa, is having all of her summary tables produced. And in this case, it's the same path, but then all these programs are specified. And this is the order in which it will execute. It will first run the first program, wait until that's finished, before continuing on the subsequent programs. And if you specify the output report, in this case, it's in the same location with the program folder, but one level up at the output folder. It would check for these output files, and if it exists after the submission, it would update the status that ran successfully. In addition, I also created this Excel macro, which is a separate macro, but I'm doing this to export the resulting data set that is used for validation documentation, so you can view it without having to look at the data set. You can view it in Excel. Let's go ahead and run this then. When I submit this, it will actually run the programs one at a time. So let me show you this. This is the driver program, and these are the programs that it's submitting one at a time according to the script. So I can see it's running now. If these are not complete, that's different than if it's, if it generates an output. The status will be created differently. So what happens is it all creates a log file as to that session, but then you can go to the same folder at the validation as the programs, and then underneath there's a data directory. This is where it actually stores the metadata captured in your run. Normally it stores it inside a SAS dataset called ValueSAS. Note that it also makes backups each time you submit or do other updates. It creates 5 versions of the backup. And I also ran a export that I mentioned, so that now we have an Excel file. It's recommended that you don't look at the SAS dataset directly because it may lock this from other users updating it. So if you wanted to review without generating a table of contents, you can just do it in Excel. In this example, if you can sort it by date if you want, but if I were to do that, I can see the latest items that I ran. So if I were to scroll to the bottom, it would show me the latest set that I ran here. Today is the 28th, and it records the fact that I ran it, and it records the column of that the program was submitted. Now this is the comments column. If you were to scroll up, you see, but this comment would only be populated if my program successfully created the report. And in this example, these programs are not done yet. So if it created that output folder report location, then it would have the specified comment saying successfully ran. In this case, it didn't because the programs are not done. By looking at the file conventions, T underscore, it knows that it's a summary table. So as you can see, after it submits your program, it documents everything inside, I won't say this, but inside the validation data set, which also is used to generate the table of contents for the status report. I happen to export it to Excel for review purposes. But that's how you would submit all of your programs in a specified order. It's recommended that you do it by type. So, for example, you might want to group all of your summary tables to T underscore and run those at one time. And you would then run all of the figures at a different time. So that's the recommended method for submitting all your programs in a validated environment.